This is the Han Solo Kenner laser pistol. It can fire a bolt that will blow your head clean off. So now you have to ask yourself a question. Did he fire 5 lasers or 6? What is it? Do you feel lucky? Do you, punk?
I got to know.
For years, people wondered what this prototype Luke Skywalker action figure was. Well, I'm gonna tell you. Welcome back to the Junk Room, fools! It's me, the Junkman, coming back at you with a new video. Before we get started, as always, go to Patreon, support the channel so I can make better content and maybe more locations than just this Junk Room. And, I don't know, better lights, better sounds, maybe a new cord for this mic over here so you don't hear that buzzing sound. I don't know if you guys hear it, but I always hear the buzzing sound. I drown it out as much as I can, but gotta get a new cord. Why are the cords so hard to find? Okay, I'm rambling. Or you can go to thatjunkman.com and buy some cool t-shirts. Like, oh, I'm not wearing one of my Junkman t-shirts. How rude of me. But I got one right here. Anybody that's seen Strange Brew know what that's from. And what about this one right here? Do you know what this shirt's from? I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to let you figure that one out for yourself. I like shirts like that where you're not really sure that only a few people get, you know, it has a logo or a word on it that only a few people will understand. I like shirts like that. I don't like shirts that everybody gets, like shirts that say, my husband's the best line dancer in the county. Sure, I wear them shirts sometimes, but I don't really like them. Anyway, what are we going to talk about today? Well, we're going to look at this mysterious prototype Luke Skywalker action figure where for years, people wasn't sure what this figure was. It was known in the collectors community as Luke in robes. Now, I heard all kinds of theories. Probably one of the most popular was that this was some prototype for a expanded universe toy line that Kenner was working on after the Power of the Force line. Another thing I heard a lot of, that this was Luke as seen at the end of Empire Strikes Back in those medical robes or whatever that gown he's wearing at the end when he's looking out the big window at deep space. You know what I'm talking about. This thing right here. But that seems a little odd to make a figure based on that little scene in the film of him wearing robes when there were so many other figures they could make. Now, for years in the collector's community, no one knew 100% what this figure was. Again, we just had theories. But thanks to a toy catalog in the deep, deep South, we figured out what this figure was. Before we dig into that, let's take a closer look at that prototype figure. And here's a look at the figure. As you can tell, it's definitely Luke Skywalker. And he's wearing something unlike anything we've actually ever seen in the Star Wars films. Unless you think it looks like those robes at the end of Empire Strikes Back. But this photo with a prototype, we get a front and back view of the figure. Blueprints of this figure also. And here's what they look like. As you can see here, it doesn't really give you much more detail. We got the figure and then shows how a cloak would be placed over the figure. One thing you can notice on this blueprint that kind of went unnoticed or talked about for years. Look at the arm of this Luke Skywalker blueprint. We'll come back to that soon. Now here's a colored blueprint. As we can now see, the figure is all brown. The brown's kind of like an Obi-Wan color. Could this have been a plan for a young Obi-Wan Kenobi action figure line? No, it's not. To find out more about this figure, let's go to the Deep South, to the British toy company Mikado. This was a toy company that handled the production of Star Wars toys, much like Kenner in the US and Canada, but this was for the European French area. Oui, Capital. If you look closely at this Return of the Jedi ad for upcoming action figures in their catalog, you'll notice a clue here about that prototype figure. Right there on the front row, for everyone to see, was the mysterious prototype Luke Skywalker figure. As you can see from that early catalog photo, the mysterious robe Luke Skywalker figure wasn't him at the end of Empire Strikes Back, wasn't a early Obi-Wan Kenobi, wasn't even a extended universe Luke Skywalker. It was just Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight, planned to be released for the Return of the Jedi line. As I said earlier, look at that arm in the blueprint. As you can see here in the blueprint, it has a slight bend to it. Although the bend's a little different, the final release Jedi Luke figure still has him with a bent arm. You'll also notice some other similarities between the blueprint and the release figure, such as the ruffling around the pants at the knees. In Sweden, another picture appears of Luke and Jedi, but this time looks more like the figure he got to release. However, as you can see here, he has a darker cloak. But it looks like the Royal Guard is missing his cloak, or as it says here, Galactic Emperor's Guard. Now while we're looking at these pictures, go back to that first one. Did you notice Clayton was called Woof? So that's it. No real mystery here. And in fact, for years, all this was probably right in front of all us collectors, and no one put the puzzles together until a couple of years ago. The blueprints hinted at it, and then you had the French promotional photo way back in the early 80s that showed exactly what it was. Like they say, sometimes you don't see the forest for all the vintage action figures in the way. I guess that's how the saying is. Anyway, that's a look at the mysterious prototype Luke Skywalker figure. Let me know in the comments below how you've known this for years and this isn't anything new, and why am I wasting my time with this video when Toy Fair is going on. Don't worry, I'll be back later tonight with a rundown of Toy Fair and separate videos. Until then, subscribe, thumb up the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time. Go ahead, punk. Make my day.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.